Folks, it is a hot day, but we also have a very hot product which is just coming out onto the market here. It is the OSIGHT SE with the Delta Point Pro footprint here. And so the SE line has been around for a bit with the Shield footprint. They've released several different versions. I've found these very durable, very good sight picture in terms of the reticles and the dots, and they've worked out very well. Now here in the Delta Point Pro footprint, this is going to open up a lot of different options for other folks that have their slides cut to that, or if they're using an adapter plate. In this video, we're going to go through everything with this. We're going to go over what comes in the box, how to set it up, especially if you're new to this, kind of what to look for. OSIGHT is awesome about essentially providing everything that you need. And then we will go ahead and get this sighted in, installed, all that good stuff, and you'll see all of that. Now the optic here itself, again, we'll give you a good look at the different reticles and all that. But starting out here with the footprint, the Delta Point Pro footprint. So you can either, if you already have a slide cut for this, you can also use an aftermarket mounting solution. So if you want to mount it on something else or use it as a backup, a red dot, that's also an option too. So that's very possible as well. And that's what we're going to do to start out with this. Here on the side is our battery tray. So it is a side loading battery. I'll put up on the screen the number of hours that it should last, but it's not something that you should have to worry about for a long time to come. What I do is I leave mine set on motion activated. So as soon as I move it at all, it's going to go ahead and come on. So you can set it the other way if you want, but that's what I prefer. We have our windage here adjustment, and then we also have our elevation adjustment, which are very easy to do. And then here on the side, we have buttons here to change the brightness up and down. So you can adjust the brightness through multiple levels here, all the way from pretty much a night vision setting to very, very bright. Just depends on kind of what you want to do. Usually I have it set kind of medium towards high, not always at high. So that way I can adjust it up or down if I need to. But usually that setting works for most lighting situations. To change the reticle here, it's very easy. It's holding down this minus button right here for 3 seconds, and you can cycle through from a reticle with a dot. So it's a 2 MOA dot and a 32 MOA circle. And then you can also just have the 2 MOA dot only, or you can just have the circle only. Depends on what you want to do and what works for you in terms of a sight picture. So there's different situations where perhaps the dot works just fine if you're doing target work. And then for concealed carry or something like that, where I want fast target acquisition, myself, I don't mind the reticle. I find the reticle and the dot ends up working very well. So totally up to you. And that's the great thing with this, is they give you a bit of options. This is also made out of 7075 aluminum. Pretty tough with the other SEs I've had. I have kind of beat these up and thrown them around a bit, and they still look pretty much like new. So they seem to handle, I'm sure if you deliberately sat there and tried to scratch something into them or something like that, or purposely damage them, you could, but I haven't had any trouble along those lines at all. And then of course we also have this is what's known as a closed emitter design. So we have a sealed back window to totally protect against moisture, rain, snow, mud, anything from getting in there with the laser itself. So that closed emitter design, there's different optics that use the open emitter design, but they don't have the same level of protection, of course, as having a window front and back. And then also here at the front, they also have kind of a slightly hooked edge where if you need to rack your pistol one-handed, you have a chance of doing that with this right here, kind of with this beveled edge as well. The other nice thing with OSIGHT is they're very good about providing all the stuff to get you up and going out of the box. There's a little screwdriver here for both adjusting elevation and windage, and then also to putting these screws in. There's also a spare battery compartment screw as well, in case for some reason you lose this screw while you're replacing your battery. That's the nice thing with OSIGHT is they give you a nice setup here where you probably have screws yourself that you've gotten with different adapter plates or whatever it is that you're using. But they give you a whole full set here of different lengths and also just different sizes. So altogether, awesome that they do this. It's just makes it easy for you. Now, next thing is they also have a handy dandy card here in terms of putting the sight on your slide or your adapter plate. And you can get these little gunsmith torque wrenches. Mine went missing until recently. And so for a long time, I was just basically just hand tightening them down. And as long as they have like a little bit of blue thread locker on them, generally I've not run into an issue. And any time that I do maintenance, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and check to make sure everything is tight. The other thing is for sighting, I have found sighting to be pretty fast, pretty easy. Typically it takes me 10 to 15 minutes with the other OSIGHT SEs that I've used. And it's relatively easy to get it and just dial it right in. Not hard at all. A few adjustments and then there we are, in we go. So there's also handy instructions here for that. This amounts to the owner's manual. So everything that you would need to know, how to install, replace the battery, everything. So keep in mind with this is that it just comes with the footprint itself. Just ensure that if you need an adapter plate or perhaps your slide is already cut for Delta Point Pro, then you're good to go. Or if you would need an adapter plate, or if you want an aftermarket solution where you're going to mount it on something else as like a backup sight, then you'll need to get something else. So nothing like that does come in the box. That's up to you. So folks, for sighting in, not bad at all. You can see I started there on the lower left and gradually drifted my way up to the 0 there and ended up coming back one left. Now, when I went to go do my check group here, just check everything out, I forgot to go up just a touch on this last one. And so when I did my check group right there, should have come up previously a little bit more. So still a little bit down, but pretty much dead on. And then so went ahead and walked it up a little bit more. So we're pretty much right in there. I used the -1 right here as the second check group and pretty much could probably still come up 1 or 2, I think, but it's pretty much right in there. It took me about probably 15 minutes max to do it. In the end, to wrap it up today with our OSIGHT SE Delta Point Pro footprint optic, super happy with it and not joking about that. It's just a phenomenal optic, especially considering the price that you pay for it. The value to me is there. The construction quality is there. Also too, the variety that you get with the reticle, the dot, the reticle with the dots, the ease of use, it's easy to sight in. If you have a Delta Point Pro footprint or slide cutter, I installed it here on this mount and we're gonna be installing it on something else and making another video with it soon. Just very easy to do. And so I also like the fact that they give you plenty of screws. Pretty much everything is there. So that's the great thing with this is that when you get it, it doesn't take a lot to get yourself spun up, especially if you've never done this and used one of these before. Installing it is pretty straightforward. Sighting it in is straightforward. And then using it, you don't have to think about it because I just set mine to shake awake. So as soon as it detects movement, it's on. And so how easy is that? At the end of the day, folks, super happy with this. It's just been a phenomenal optic. So definitely check this out and y'all have a good day.